But I wanted to ask you this question. You say, one of my favorite things that you said in a video that you can tell how much you love yourself by the partner that you've chosen. Tell me about that.
Well, I pose it as a question because if you hear someone say in the video I think you're referring to, it's, how would you feel if someone said that they can tell how much you love yourself by the partner that you've chosen? Does that feel like a compliment or an insult? And what that really distills down to, I'm not passing a judgment on your relationship, but the way you feel about that question can offer a lot of insight. Have you tolerated treatment that really, really doesn't feel great? It doesn't really feel loving. It's not what someone would put up with if they loved themselves. Or, man, I've chosen a really patient, loving, incredible person. You know, some part of me must like myself enough to choose someone who loves me in such a way. It's really, really mostly about reflection. What is it that we're choosing? And am I making decisions, building relationships, investing in relationships that reflect love for myself and back to the values? You know, am I making decision based on my values, or am I stagnant? Am I complacent? Am I participating in this negative dynamic as well? It's really about reflection and seeing what comes up for people.
Yeah, it's a great reflection. Such a great question. And it's a great way, if you're dating right now, to really make the right shifts and changes.
Absolutely.
And if you're married and you feel like you made the wrong decision, what would you do? If someone's listening to that and they're going, whew, like I'm listening to you right now, Q, and that feels tough because my partner's not present. I know they love me, but you know, I'm not sure I think we lost it somewhere along the way. What would you say to them?
I love that distinction too. I say dating is dating is about discernment. Marriage is about devotion. Not the other way around.
Say that again.
Dating is about discernment, not devotion. Devotion is to be saved for marriage or long-term relationships, long-term partnerships. That's important as you're making decisions. But what I would say to someone who's realizing that maybe their relationship dynamic is not as loving as they would want it to be, first things first, take a look at your side of the street. That doesn't mean it's your fault. This is not a blame game. But if you envision the kind of relationship you want with with your husband, with your wife, with your partner, what does it consist of, and how can you add more of that now? How can you be the first to add, to try? How can you show up as the partner you want to be? Where's the appreciation for the ways that they are making effort? It's really easy to get sucked into a disappointment spiral. Like you go down the rabbit hole and all you can see are the things that they aren't doing, the things they're doing wrong, the ways that they aren't showing up. Pull yourself out of that. If you want your relationship to work, you have to pull yourself out of that. Even if you choose to leave, don't choose to leave in the bottom of the disappointment spiral. Anyway, you clean up your side of the street and go first.
Great advice, yeah.
That's what I would say. The follow-up to that is have a conversation with your spouse. Hey, I want more of this because I love you. I feel really distant. I feel really lonely. We both have a lot going on. Can we come up with a plan to reconnect? What do you want more of? Here's what I want more of. Can we get on board? It doesn't have to be so humdrum, negative. Oh, we have to fix this. It can be an exciting thing if you want it to be, and if you come with the right energy. And if it is the right person, then they'll at least try to meet you there.
Yeah. What's the difference between keeping someone accountable and trying to change them?
I don't think you can keep people accountable. I don't really believe that it's possible.
Or hold someone accountable.
If you're with someone who's really lacking consistency, they're not really following through on their word, and you're thinking, I need a little bit more here. They're not taking initiative. I can't trust them to do what they say that they're going to do. You can bring that up. This is what I'm noticing. I'm finding it hard to rely on you because you haven't done the things that you said that you're going to do. I mean, can we talk about this? And if they say, I want to be a more consistent, reliable person, thank you for bringing that to my attention. Great. Now they want to make that change. You've brought it to light. It is on them to make the change. You can lovingly, hey, again, this thing didn't get done, but the buck stops there.
Yeah.
You can't be breathing down their neck. You definitely don't want to meet them with criticism or constant disappointment. People don't actually change from that place.
True.
So if they want to make the change themselves, great, beautiful. The onus is on them. You can be loving and supportive in the process, but I don't believe that we can really hold people accountable, and we definitely can't force them to change.
I fully agree. And I think the hardest part of it is how hard it is to change yourself. So even when someone says they want to change themselves, you got to realize how hard that is, right? You may have your partner say to you, yeah, I really do want to work out and get in the gym more. And then they're never in the gym. They're always watching sport. They're hanging out, whatever it is. You know how hard that is to do. And so it's such an interesting dynamic because we almost think change should be really easy for other people, knowing that it's really hard for ourselves. And then when they don't change, we're upset or disappointed in them. And if you just thought for a second about how hard it is to change yourself and build good habits yourself, I think you'd have more empathy and compassion for someone else. That's how I see it, at least.
We tend to judge ourselves by our intentions, and we tend to judge others by their actions or their follow through or the result of their thing, right? So I meant to go to the gym 5 days this week. I really only made it once, but I intended to. I had a lot going on. My intentions were good. I tried. They don't go to the gym 5 times a week. They only go once, and suddenly it's a reflection of their character, right? They're unreliable. They lack discipline. They aren't motivated. Let's hold on here. Let's find the color amongst all this black and white thinking. I totally agree.
Yeah. It's the toughest one I see. I always just feel like, and that's why I love that you said start on your side of the street, because I think a lot of relationship language and podcasting and conversations right now are all about how do you spot if someone's good. And I'm just like, it's a dangerous game to play, because in that scenario, you're always the detective and the secret agent, and the other person's always the villain in some way. And while that can be true in certain cases where there's extremes, the reality is most of us are all flawed and making mistakes at the same time.
And if you want a peaceful, emotionally intelligent person, right, with all of these traits that are wonderful, I love that for you. You have to be the other half of that relationship. Right? You also want to be patient and calm, slow to conflict, kind with your words, even when you're frustrated. You can handle some disappointment, and you want to be the other half of that loving relationship. It's not going to come from focusing on all the red flags you need to look out for and all the things that the specific ways they need to show up to prove to you that they are who they say that they are. Focus on your side of the street. Focus on being the other half of this relationship that you want so badly, rather than trying to figure out the quick fixes to avoid all of the bad fish in the sea. It's a waste of time, in my opinion.